Here we go. We're back, Indianapolis Moms, and we have some more moms for you. We are so excited to have Kristin Adams and Gabrielle Flowers Rader join us today and chat with you about all things motherhood, because that's why we're here. So, Kristin, why don't we start? Just go ahead and share who you are, what you do. Tell us about your family.
Well, hey, Indianapolis Moms. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you guys for having us. And I'm married to Danny, so you might know me better as half of Kristin and Danny. That's what we do now full time, is make videos. We're content creators and live event speakers when COVID is not happening.
Right.
That was about 80% of our business, was doing live events and traveling around the country. So it's definitely impacted us as well. And we've had to make adjustments this year, and just going with the flow and believing for the best in our household. But I've lived in Indy for about 4.5 years. My husband's originally from here, and we met in California, where we were both working in the entertainment industry. I was a television host for 15 years. And so the first part of my motherhood journey was different than it is now. I was working on set early on, pumping milk in the makeup chair and traveling across the country and going back through security with all my milk and doing all those types of things, juggling a lot of different stuff, bringing my kids with me to auditions and all that fun stuff. And then we just felt the divine nudge to make a change 4 years ago and to raise our kids in a different place. And Indiana was calling, and we had never talked about it. To be honest, I kind of initially came kicking and screaming because I would go outside my door every day and it would be 85 degrees and sunny in California. And I thought, let's just stay one more winter in California, just one more. And but to be honest with you, I love it here, and I can't see us anywhere else now. And it's funny how just, sometimes we think we know best, but we don't. And I'm so grateful that I felt that divine nudge and we said yes and came, because this has just been awesome. I love Indianapolis. And now we do this full time. We make videos for the internets and get to travel the country, like I said. And I have 2 kids, Harper and Holt, a 6 and a 9-year-old. My daughter's 9, my son's 6. And like most all you moms out there, I feel like I blink and they're a foot taller and more teeth are falling out of their head every day, and I can't keep up. And but it's so fun. It's like the days are long and the years are short, and I'm loving being a mommy. Don't have all the answers, have learned a lot, have messed up a lot, and but I love being a mom more than anything in the world.
Well, we are excited to have you. And we're excited you're here in Indiana too.
Me too. I love it. And I love the seasons now. It's crazy how I look forward to them, It's just it's so nice to just know that the change is coming and the different traditions and the different things. I mean, it was so hard. You spend Christmas in LA and it's like, you're wearing shorts, and it's just weird to see Christmas trees with palm trees outside, and I don't know. So I'm all in now. I'm all in.
Well, good. We're glad. So Gabrielle, go ahead and share us a little bit about you as well.
Hey everyone, I am Gabrielle, also known as one half of Gabe Babe TV. I also make videos for the internet with my husband. We have been married for 9 years, and here we're both born and raised in Indy. Well, he was born in Lafayette, but we're both from here. Went to the same high school, didn't know each other, and found each other years later through Facebook. So that's kind of how our story started. It's the craziest thing, but I mean, we're North Central grads, so it's a pretty big class, but it's not, unheard of that we didn't know each other. But we started our family in Tennessee after we got married. We were actually living in Tennessee, and that's where we had our son, Chad Jr. He is now 7. When he was 1.5, we moved back to Indianapolis because we wanted to be closer to home. And we had our daughter 5 years later, Reagan. She is now 2. So yeah, we have the 7 and the 2-year-old, and she's like 2 going on 22. They told me how different girls were from boys. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, we are full-time content creators. We also have a podcast where we talk about like all things love, life, and laughter. That's kind of our platform. We like to show the positive side of life.
And you also have a fitness business, right?
Yes, I do. Gabe Fix Fitness. I am a nutrition coach.
So you do it all.
All the things.
Yes. So let's go ahead, and you talked about how your kiddos are 5 years apart. And I think this is one of the most popular questions that you actually get asked. When I was reading the questions over before, it was interesting. I told Paige, I said, that is actually one of our most popular posts, is a mom wrote about the 5-year age gap and how it has worked for them. So I'd love to hear your insight on this with your family.
Absolutely. So I have to start off by saying that it was never our plan. I had this grand plan, like I feel like all of us do, like, oh, I'm going to get married by this age. We're going to have 2 kids, 2 years apart, a boy and a girl. It's just going to be perfect. And that was like, it couldn't be further from the truth. So, my husband and I, we got married in 2011, and probably like 6 months into our marriage, we found out we were pregnant with our son. We're just happy being newlyweds, I guess. And it just happened. So we're like, okay, well, we'll start planning around, when he's 2, we'll start trying again. And we tried and we tried and we tried, and it was just like not happening as quick as we thought it would. And, that was kind of devastating, because you're like, oh, I got pregnant so quick the first time. It's going to work like that again. And we ended up having a miscarriage in 2015. So then it took a couple more years, IUIs and a cycle of IVF. And we successfully got pregnant with our daughter, Reagan. So it was a 5-year gap there. And I was kind of stressing about it at first, just because I didn't know, how they would react. It's like, is he really even going to be interested in his younger sister? Is he going to hate her? Is he going to be mad? But honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I think that Chad Jr. was old enough that he was able to do a lot of things on his own. So he was such a great helper. Like, he wanted to help. He wanted to do all of the things except change the diaper. He wasn't doing that, but he wanted to do all the things, and he was very involved. And of course, I mean, he was a child, like he's still a child, but he had little moments of jealousy, but it just wasn't, it was great to not have to do 2 in diapers at the same time and potty training 2 at the same time or around the same time. It was just this space that I kind of felt like Reagan had that only child opportunity, because Chad Jr. started kindergarten. So he was at school all day, and we had time to just be with our daughter. We both worked from home, and we were able to be there with her, just her. She had that kind of one-on-one attention. And, when he came home, we were able to do it for both. And then she went to bed, and then we had time with him by himself. So it kind of just worked out really well. Like, I tell everybody, I'm like, the 5-year difference, it's fine. I'm sure it'll come a time where they probably will get on each other's nerves. It's fine. But, we'll get past that.
Right. So it all worked out for the best.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So this question's for both of you. Speaking of working with your spouses, this is kind of turning into the norm lately with COVID. A lot of moms are at home with their partners and trying to manage it all. So how is it working with your partner? Being in the same industry, this is actually your job that you do together. So elaborate and talk with us about that. How does that work? Kristin, you want to start?
I can for sure jump in. Feel free to, Gabrielle. It's hard. It's not always easy. Especially, our mission is a lot like Gabe and Babe's, where you want to bring the fun and bring the positive, but not every moment in marriage is fun and positive. And so we've had those stories where we're fighting. We call it heated fellowship, so it sounds better, but where we're having heated fellowship before we're trying to go make a video or do a live event, and you just feel the weight of feeling like you're a hypocrite, or like you're not really who you say you are. And so we are so intertwined, our lives, and they have been for a while. I know it's different when families now have been just thrown into it, like you said. And so there's a whole learning curve, and it's like, how long is this going to happen? And how long do we have to make adjustments? Is this a short-term thing? Is this another year? Are most companies going to start saying, hey, just keep working from home? And so I think for us, we've kind of gone through that learning curve. So we do have like a schedule now, and we have regular check-ins with each other, which is so important, whether you work with each other or not, to check in and talk about things that don't have to do with, hey, did you get this at the grocery store? Can you do that for me? Can you do blah, blah, blah? Hey, we need to call this person back. Hey, we need to get on it turns into business partners or a roommate situation. And that's when marriage just kind of becomes what the world says it is. And it can be so much better and so much more exciting. And it should be that way. It should be special and unique and this most amazing mystery, that we don't get to have with anybody else. And so we have our hard moments, but we've had to kind of define roles regularly and go, hey, who's handling this? Who's handling that? But I think the biggest thing, this is just my nugget. I could talk forever on it, but it's not but the biggest thing is remembering no matter what hat you're wearing, the first and foremost is wife when you're talking about your husband. So it's like, I can't come in all guns a-blazing, even if I'm wearing my producer hat or my whatever hat I'm trying to wear at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's like, he's still my husband and I still need to honor and respect him. Even if we disagree over a business thing or a scheduling thing or whatever, it's like, okay, pause. This is my husband. This isn't just someone I work with. This is my ride or die. This is, we're in this for life. So just remember, no matter what hat you wear, and I know we wear a lot as moms. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like we wear costumes in a lot of our videos and literally do wear hats and stuff. But I feel like as moms, we just all have that visual of like, oh my word, I'm a baker right now. Now I'm a teacher, now I'm a businesswoman. Now I'm, a gardener. And it's just like, it can be so, but we have a unique skill set as women. And I feel like it's just a God-given thing that we have of being able to adapt. We are adaptable. And that's just I don't want to just make a blanket statement and be like, we're more adaptable than men always. But I do think we have this unique quality to just see what our family needs, to see what others need, to see what we need, that's important too, and to adapt, And so I think that's my biggest thing for Danny and I is go, hey, he's my husband. He's not just my coworker. He's not just, a guy I make videos with. He's my hubby. And I need to honor and respect him as best I can and apologize when I don't.
Apologize. It's so hard too.
Trust me, swallow that pride, but be the first. Just do it. Just be the first. Yeah. Make the first move. We have a couple sayings in our household, and one of them is make the first move. Be the first. It's like what we tell our kids. Go be the first. You be the bigger person. You take the high road, all that kind of stuff. And our other one is my response is my responsibility. I do not cause Danny to react a certain way. And I can't say you made me react this way. You might have done something to trigger me to be upset, but it's my responsibility on how I respond. And I need to take ownership of my words and the way I say things and my tone. And I know for me, that's my biggest thing. It's not always what I say, it's how I say it. And sometimes I think I'm doing a good job of covering my sarcasm or my sass, but he's been with me for 15 years. He knows. So,
yeah. Gabrielle, you want to go ahead? Share?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that I echo a lot of her sentiments there, but we've been working together for so long. Like even before Gabe Babe TV officially started, we worked at the same company and we had different like offices, but we saw each other. We would like go into work, riding together sometimes. So we are very familiar with being in the same place and it's great. Like we absolutely love it. Like wouldn't have it any other way. And I think what works for us the best is that we know who is better at what. Like we play to each other's strengths and weaknesses because Chad is all about the contracts. He's all about the email. He's all about getting us paid. And I'm all about the creative. It's like you do your job, I do mine, and we will work perfectly. Like it's one of those things where we're not constantly stepping on each other's toes. Yes, I help out with those things. He helps out with the creative as well. But I think finding out where we thrive and staying in that lane has helped us so much because, we all have our individual tasks and you're handling that and I'm handling that. And then we can come together and talk about it. And I think another thing that's great for us is setting off times. Like this is, you know what? We are not talking about email. We are not talking about proposals. We are not talking about contracts. This is us. If it's date night, it's off the table.
Yeah.
What else can we talk about? Because we are together all the time, and it's, you know, it just commingles. Like, you can't help it. So I think just having that time where you're like, nope, we're not talking about it. This is just us, because we have to connect as husband and wife. So that's what's been like the biggest thing for us, is just making clear boundaries and hard stops when work is over and when we transition back to relationship. Like, this is us. Yeah.
And I think that, you know, that goes for any relationship. So, I mean, you clearly have the unique one where you're working together, but, you know, one of the things about if you have a 9-to-5 office job, you can kind of shut off that work and come home. So I like how you said, making sure you shut off work, and then now this is husband and wife time. So finding that balance. Yes, definitely.
It's easy to let it all bleed together if you don't do it. It's like, it'll be 1 a.m. and you're still up talking. It's like, no.
I know. I'm like, just in that email chat is like, it is Saturday afternoon. I will check on Monday.
Exactly.
No work talk on the weekends.
Yeah.
So, Kristin, like you said, a main part of your job is on social media. So right now, it can be a hard environment. I mean, I'm sure we can all feel this. So how do you stay positive? Are there times where you ever just need to like step back and take a break or a cleanse? You know, how do you manage that with social media being such a large part of your job?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, whenever I get asked to speak on like panels that pertain to how to have a successful social media page or business or whatever, I never say yes, because I'm the worst to ask, because I don't follow the rules, because I don't like being on social media very much. And so we have a very clear mission of the type of videos we're supposed to be doing. And I don't just get on there. I remember early on, back when social media was blowing up and we were still in LA, and you would go to acting classes or hosting classes or any industry class, and that topic would be that. There was the whole, you need to post 3 times a day. You need to do da-da-ba-ba-ba. It's all about stories. It's all about this. And we tried for a while, and we just didn't have the grace for it. I know some people do, and they can keep their sanity and still do it. For me, I'm not that person. And so we're very, we'll have spurts where we're super active right now because it's the headspace we're in and we feel like doing stories. And then other times I'm like, I'm with my kids. I don't want to film right now. I don't want to share it with everybody right now. I don't want to get on and start comparing myself to, and I don't even have that personality. I think we all have that thing in us. Like, I love Joanna Gaines. I love it. But there's just some times where I'm like, I can't see another perfect thing. I just can't. It'll drive me crazy. And because I want to be happy with what I've been given in my life. And you know, it's like, there's that saying, it's like, when you're grateful, it makes what you have enough. And I just want to, that's what I want to guard. And if I ever am not feeling that way, a lot of times it has to do with how much I'm on social media. And so I'm the wrong person to ask on how to have a successful one. But I know, like, on a business level, we should post more, we should do these things, but it's like, I also just want my sanity and my time with my kids and a healthy marriage, because that's what I can hand down to them is that legacy, and everything else is going to fade away at some point. And it is, man, it's been heavy this year. Like, I know we got to stay informed, and I try my best to do that, but because there's so much misinformation, it's crazy that we live in the age of information and there's so much misinformation. It should be the age of misinformation. We need to rename it. This is like, how do we even know what the heck is true and not? And everything's all, And so I try to definitely have a balance. I only follow people and spend time on things that fill my tank, where I don't feel empty or less than, or, you know, it's like that very draining people, the VDP thing. It's like, if that's happening with people that you're following, and you got to cut it off and guard your sanity, guard your peace.
I think that's important. And like you said, you know, I think a lot of times people online, they portray something, this beautiful, you know, very clearly filtered, nice life picture, but behind the camera, is that real life? you know. And as moms, like you said, it's really hard because we're constantly comparing ourselves, whether we mean to or not. And I think we just need to be reassured that we've got this and we can do this. So I appreciate that insight. But ladies, we are so grateful you had the opportunity to chat with us and the moms here. Before we jump off, is there anything real quick you want to say or add? No? Are we good? Sorry to
I
push
just have to say that you women are so inspirational. And I think that as content creators, you know, sometimes it's the quote of, you don't believe the good things as much as you believe the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope that both of you, through us just saying that you guys were going to be on this platform and this event with us, so many women, you know, were inspired and encouraged because you guys share the real, authentic, vulnerable sides, the funny side. I mean, you give us something to look forward to that's real, and we relate to you. And it's so important as women to find somebody to follow that I can say, I relate to her. She's so inspirational. And I really feel encouraged when I see your content. And so I hope that you understand that our readers and viewers feel the same, because you are two powerhouses that are there because of exactly who you are, not who you say you are. Exactly. And that's not always the case with content creators. And I just can't say enough of how awesome you guys are.
Aww.
Thank you. That is so
sweet.
sweet.
You guys are going to record that because I might need to play that back on my bad days.
I know, right?
Hey, just if you ever see a pretty picture that looks polished of me or my family, know that it was a struggle to get it. Okay?
Yes.
It was a struggle. I promise you.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time and chatting with local moms. So thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. See you guys. Have a great day.
Bye, thank you.